hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, okay, here we go with the video. Okay, yeah, this is Mark McKinney, Joseph Potter, and Sam Roberts. Yeah, and we are going to talk about ITIL miscellaneous incident management. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now, to understand what incident management is, we first need to understand what an incident is. An incident is an event that interrupts normal IT services, and incident management restores IT services to normal working levels. Problems, on the other hand, are conditions identified through a series of multiple incidents with the same symptoms. Problem management resolves the root cause of the problem. For example, let's say that you are the owner and operator of the family-oriented music organization, and yesterday you received a report that the application crashed while someone was trying to purchase an electric guitar. That would be an incident. It's something that happened that caused the normal IT services to stop. The problem, however, you discovered was a lack of exception handling in the checkout code that caused the application to crash for certain items. So now, what is incident management? Incident management is the process responsible for managing the life cycle of all incidents. Why is it important? Because it allows the normal service to continue as quickly as possible after an incident occurs. It also allows organizations to make good decisions with regard to how much precedence incidents should be given. Operational incident management requires several key pieces. The first is a service level agreement between the provider and the customer. This defines terms such as priorities, escalation paths, and response and resolution timeframes. Another is incident models, templates that allow incidents to be resolved efficiently. Further, it requires categorization of incident types for better data gathering and problem management. It also requires agreement on incident statuses, categories, and priorities, an establishment of a major incident response process, and an agreement on incident management role assignment. Now, there are several key factors in incident management. The first is early detection. When you're having an incident, you need to know it fast. In many organizations, users are their incident detection mechanism. This is a problem because if your end users are the ones who are detecting the incidents, they're the ones having issues. So you should design early detection mechanisms that will know before your users do that you're having an issue. For example, if you work for FOMO, you could write a script that makes a request to FOMOmusicIsTheBest.com every 2 minutes and ensure that the site is up and running. Another key factor is having a knowledge base. There needs to be sufficient information on the web and in your organization to know how to troubleshoot issues when they arise. Another is integrating incident with configuration management. A lot of times if you have an issue and you want to solve it, and you don't understand the configuration of your technologies, you're not going to be able to fix the issue without messing up other technologies that you're already running. The fourth, and arguably the most important, is a service desk. You should have service desk agents who have good customer service skills because they will be communicating directly with your customers to report incidents. Now, ITIL provides us with a structured framework for identifying issues that involves the following steps. The first is incident identification, which is the process of ensuring that an issue is truly an incident rather than just a request. The second is logging, which is the process of recording information about the incident so that it can be handled quickly. The third is categorization, the process of determining who will be responsible to handle the incidents. The fourth is prioritization, which is deciding which incidents should be handled first. And the final is response, which is the actual taking care of the incident.
The first step in the process of incident management is incident identification. Incident identification first involves deciding if the issue is an incident or if it's a request. Here are some of the sources of incident reporting: walk-ups, self-service, phone calls, emails, support chats, and automated notices. Some of these happen more frequently than others. All right, so now that we got that figured out, let's talk about incident logging. What do you think of when you think of logging? Is it trees, like the picture that we included? Wrong, that's false. This is incident logging. Meaning, when you identify an incident, the service desk logs the incident as a ticket. And I'm not talking about a speeding ticket. I'm talking about a ticket that someone gets kind of like they're standing in line, like at the DMV kind of, and they're like, here's a ticket. Okay, well, we'll call you in a little bit. And then you just kind of sit down and wait. So the ticket should include information such as the user's name, the user's contact information, incident description, and date and time of the incident report for SLA adherence. You're probably like, SLA, what's that? It's service level agreements, obviously. So incident categorization. Incident categorization is one of the most important and essential steps of the incident management process. Categorization involves assigning a category and at least one subcategory to the incident. You may have noticed the change in the inflection of my voice when I said a category and at least one subcategory. That's to highlight how important it is, which is why it's also in bold in the text on the screen. This action serves several purposes. One, it allows the service desk to sort and model incidents based on their categories and subcategories. Two, it allows some issues to be automatically prioritized. Three, it provides accurate incident tracking. Incident prioritization. Incident prioritization is the act of prioritizing the incident. An incident's priority is determined by its impact on users and on the business, and its urgency. Impact is the measure of the extent of potential damage the incident may cause. Urgency is how quickly a resolution is required. As you may have noticed, there are 3 different color-coded levels of priority. Low priority incidents are those that do not interrupt users or the business and can be worked around. Services to users and customers can be maintained. For example, maybe there's an error in the code. And maybe that error, it's not anything too big, but it's kind of annoying. It redirects your homepage to some other website. I don't know, maybe YouTube, maybe you're wasting too much time. I don't know, something like that. Medium priority incidents are those that affect a few staff and interrupt work to some degree. Customers may be slightly affected or inconvenienced. For example, perhaps there's an error in the database that causes one item to not show up correctly. That would probably be a medium priority incident. And a high priority incident affects a large number of users or customers, interrupts business, and affects service delivery. These incidents almost always have a financial impact. These incidents are pretty serious. If they were a Mountain Dew, they would be code red. For example, maybe Apache crashes and things go crazy.
Now, there are 5 steps to incident response. The first one is the initial diagnosis. So this is what happens when we're trying to figure out what the problem is. The user calls in, we're asking them questions, trying to understand what it is exactly that they're experiencing. Second part is incident escalation, which happens maybe when we need to, we require advanced support on this particular issue. Maybe we're going to send a technician or a certified support staff or somebody like that to go and help this person. And typically there are 2 types of escalations. There's a functional and a hierarchical. Functional would be assigning an incident from one team to another based on the skills required to solve the incident. So for example, assigning an issue with the database to the database team. Hierarchical would be giving something a higher priority, especially when we're afraid that it's not going to be done on time and it has a higher business impact than we originally intended. This would be like moving a low priority incident to maybe a medium or a high priority incident. Next, you have your investigation and diagnosis step, which is when we actually go and we solve the problem and we figure out what it is, and we maybe push out a patch, or we are able to change software settings, or we're able to order new hardware, whatever the case may be. Next, you have your resolution and recovery, and that's when we go and we actually confirm with the end user that everything is cool and that everything's been restored to the required SLA level. At this point, if no resolution has been found, then we go back to escalation, passing it off to the proper teams and or escalating priority again. Lastly, you have your incident closure, which is where you close out your incident and the process ends. So this here is our incident process, our incident management process workflow, and it shows kind of start to finish how we deal with incidents. So first what happens is we identify a particular incident. So this comes from an event management system, a web interface, a phone call, or an email. In that step, we must determine if an incident is an unintended effect or a feature request. So what that means is a customer may call in saying that a program we built isn't doing what they want. We have to then determine, is what they want a feature that we built into the program that simply isn't functioning, or are they essentially requesting that our program do something that we didn't build it to do? Afterwards, we need to log the incident, categorize it, and determine a prioritization level. Is it a major incident? Is it going to affect the core business? Is this a low, medium, or high priority incident? Afterwards, we attempt to diagnose the issue. We determine whether or not we need to escalate it. And this particular part of the graph gives us a nice flow chart and walks us through that process. If the incident has been resolved, we finish up with incident resolution and recovery, and finally, closure.
All right. Well, that pretty much sums it up. That's what we had prepared, and I think incident management is an important process, one that I definitely have a testimony of. I would just urge all of you to save this video and to really think about it and ponder it. Well, thank you very much on behalf of all of us, and have a good evening.